Breaking news. The United States has just bombed 3 of Iran's nuclear sites using B-2 stealth bombers. It's unclear how severe the damage is and if this has disabled Iran's nuclear capabilities. This means we're finally on the escalation ladder, and the war between Israel and Iran has the potential to go global. Trump has already come out and said that now is the time for peace, in the hope of avoiding further escalation, but that is highly unlikely. What's more likely is that Iran starts firing missiles at US bases across the Middle East, or potentially detonating a nuclear weapon as a warning. Even some half-baked bomb would be a serious threat. If Iran can't provide a meaningful response, then well, the US and Israel have struck at the opportune moment. The question will then be how they prevent Iran from continuing this project. It's a bit unrealistic for them to try and bomb Iran for the next decade as they inch towards a weapon. At the same time, they can't go to the diplomatic table until Iran is ready to give up its nuclear ambitions, which it definitely won't want to do now that it has been bombed by Israel and the US. Trump delivered a national address about the airstrikes as well, which is never a good sign when it comes to determining if something will escalate. However, he didn't really say anything new. He once again called for peace in public, and supposedly they've done it through back channels as well. Trump also announced there would be another press conference that would provide details on the strikes. But, they struck. We kinda get the gist of it. Israel's response to all of this is what you would expect. They've thanked the Americans for their support and called it a bold decision, which is another way to say a courageous decision. That is never a good thing for a politician to hear. It's like saying, wow, you've done something that'll be incredibly unpopular, even if it was necessary. The response from lawmakers and people within the US appears somewhat mixed. Bernie Sanders and a few other vocal members of the left have come out condemning the decision, although there are others like Fetterman supporting it. Supposedly, Democrats on the Intelligence Committee were not informed of the strike ahead of time, but their Republican counterparts were. I don't know if that's accurate, and I can't criticize it too much, but it could polarize the parties. On the right, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Steve Bannon, and others have been critical of the decision. I suspect there is a significant amount of support for it within the MAGA base, but the cracks are there. If this goes well, then Trump might unite the party, but if it goes poorly, he could see a meaningful split. The responses from the rest of the world are slowly trickling in. I saw the UN chief had made some comment about them needing to do diplomacy, and I don't feel that's particularly critical of the US. It's literally his job to tell them to try to do diplomacy, so it'd be more surprising if he didn't say that. Now let's talk about these nuclear sites that were struck. According to CNN, the US used 6 B-2 bombers to drop a dozen bunker-busting bombs on the Fordo nuclear site. Navy submarines fired 30 cruise missiles at 2 other sites, and a B-2 bomber dropped 2 bunker-busting bombs on one of them as well. These bunker-busting bombs are apparently the main reason the US had to get involved in this war. They are far superior to anything Israel has, and they could only be delivered by the B-2 bomber, which only the US has access to. This is the best map of the Fordo base that I've seen, but it's from 2019, and it's not terribly detailed. CNN put one on their website, but it only shows the entrances. There are supposedly 4 different entrances, and the goal of any airstrike wouldn't just be to destroy what's within, but also to collapse those entrances and prevent them from continuing to use it. If I had to make a bet, the US has probably incapacitated the base, but there could be smaller tunnels which would allow Iran to rescue materials and set up elsewhere. Iran state media has already come out and said the nuclear sites were evacuated some time ago, which is not great news if you believe what Israel said about them having a stockpile of enriched uranium. According to the Saudis, there hasn't been any radioactive effects detected after the US airstrikes. This could be a good thing or a bad thing. It might confirm what the Iranians said earlier, which is that they removed the materials beforehand. Or it could mean that they've incapacitated the base in such a way that there are no consequences. Who knows? Flip a coin on whether this is working out or not. It's up in the air until we have more information. This is a fascinating development, I must say. I was making a video a few hours before this all started on what the likelihood of this would be. And I think I was trying to be overly optimistic. I would still like to be very optimistic, and I hope this does de-escalate, but I don't know. It doesn't look like it will. If I had to make a bet now, I would probably lean towards there being some sort of response. Um, this is not the first time the US has managed to incapacitate a nuclear base, though. I mean, the US, through cyber warfare, destroyed another Iranian nuclear site, I believe, or incapacitated it temporarily. Um, and Israel has bombed some of these sites before. So this isn't completely unprecedented, and Iran has limited its responses before, which, if they do again, might sort of stem this conflict. But I don't know. This is definitely a level of escalation that we haven't seen in quite a long time. So yeah, it could just completely devolve into a real war. And it's very hard to see how you would prevent Iran acquiring nuclear weapons without actually deploying boots on the ground. Maybe that's something Israel could do without the US, but I don't know. I doubt it.